Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today's Thursday, August 10th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a couple of things here to update. And we should be good to go. All right, a few more things here. One last thing here. All right, looks good. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And we should be good to go. All right. Morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, August 10th. It is 6:25 right now. Market's going to open in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly. Get a few moments for people to make their way in. All right, so a few more things here to update. And we should be good to go. All right, guys, let's see what's here so far. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Johnny. Morning, Casey. Morning, Maria. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Ben Hartwig. Morning, everybody. We had news today at 5:30 a.m. It was a CPI inflation news. If you guys saw, obviously, market moved kind of crazy this morning, which was expected. Inflation news, and then we had news at 7:30 as well. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up liquidity over here real quick. It's not going to take too long. I'm going to start over here on the weekly time frames, and then we'll go down to the lower time frames. We got one right here, change this color to blue. One right there, there. Oops, let me go back. There. Go down to the daily. So as you guys can see, a lot of people try to mark up these areas of liquidity, by hand, which is possible. I mean, it's very possible to do this by hand, but you can see how easy it is if you have the indicator. So, I mean, if you want to be able to efficiently mark these up, like literally every morning, this is all I do every morning. I just mark up liquidity really quickly. It takes me like 1 or 2 minutes to mark up liquidity using my high-low indicator. You can, because the problem when you do it by yourself by hand is that you're not going to be very accurate, right? The thing with this algorithm and indicator that I created is that it's very accurate. Like, we've been marking up liquidity pretty much every day for, I don't know, years now. And these levels typically are the strong levels. You're not getting some random high lows that you think are high lows when they're really not. So, just a reminder if you guys want to, because sometimes people will send me their charts and they're like, hey, how do my liquidity zones look? And then I turn on the indicator and I'm like, I don't even know what you drew because it doesn't look anything similar. So yeah, I mean, drawing, the thing is I used to do this by hand. And it would take me a long time because you have to really understand, what levels you're drawing so you don't make any mistakes, especially for liquidity. If you're taking a strategy like liquidity push or liquidity, anything like that, you need to be very accurate about your liquidity because if you mark up the wrong liquidity and you take that, you can be in a really tight position. And you guys know exactly what I mean by that, especially the ones you try to do it by hand. So I mean, you got two options. You could either see how I mark up liquidity here and then align them with your own liquidity, or you can just use the high-low indicator. It's probably going to be your best option. So I just want to give you guys a heads up. Some people were asking about that the other day, and I was like, I can't really. I mean, it was an issue for me. That's the whole reason I created this indicator, and I'm sharing with you guys because I want you guys to be able to use it too. But yeah, it could be done by hand, but it's hard even for myself. I've been trading for years. And market liquidity here is not exactly the easiest thing to do in the world. So yeah, anyways, here is liquidity marked up for today, guys. We have some low level liquidities up top. The ones below are kind of far off. So I don't know if we're going to really use that, but closest ones are going to be up here. If you want to use these, I'd probably go for 100 pips or low level liquidities. I think 10-minute or 15-minute. So go for 100 pips if you're going for this move right here specifically. Other than that, let's go ahead and take a look at the overall direction of price. You can see over here that on the short-term time frames, it's currently neutral. Prices in between the pivots, and then same thing over here on the higher time frames as well. So overall trend right now is currently neutral across the board, higher time frames and lower time frames. Prices in between the pivots, trend meters mixed across the board, and then pivots aren't really angling. So with that said, we don't really have much of a bias with regards to the trend. Looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 74% short. This indicates that 74% of retail traders, or 73 actually, are currently selling right now. So we typically want to do the opposite and buy. It's not very strong as it was past couple of days, but still bullish. So with that said, long-term might be bullish. And the fundamentals here are also very bullish. You can see over here, they're currently 200 points in the green. So with that said, I'm expecting price to probably go up today. So if you're looking for liquidity, it's going to be up there. But again, just be patient with it. We had CPI news this morning, so obviously market is going to be moving a little crazy today. So we'll see where this ends up going, guys. I'm going to go and mark up opening price over here real quick. So liquidity up top might get hit soon, and you guys can go ahead and take a look if you guys are looking for that. But I'm going to go ahead and mark up news 5:30 over here, obviously crazy news spike. And we got news over here at 7:30 as well. And I'm also going to mark up opening price, which is right there. Let's go over here to the clean chart. Mark up opening price right there. So it looks like price is trying to push up to that upper level of liquidity right there. Remember, as I told you guys, if you're going to go for this, only go for 100 pips. Also, you might want to wait a little bit for it to kind of stabilize a bit because you probably don't want to take that first candle. Maybe let it push up a little bit, consolidate, and then push up and then break through that level right there up top. Other than that, let's see, liquidity is currently sitting at 35.47. There goes liquidity, guys. Price went right through, straight to TP. So if you guys took it, great. I wasn't able to catch it. I wasn't fast enough, unfortunately. It's all good though. Other than paying attention when price pushed up to that point. Maybe on the retest, possible opportunity to take a trade there. It pushes through. Goes out further. It's got full 300 right there. I mean, it's still pushing up. Volatility is super kind of died down a little bit though, but it is pushing through right there. So the 100 already hit. 300 is technically still running. Yeah, I mean, we'll see if it pushes through. The sentiment is still, let's see. I mean, the fundamentals are high. Sentiment is 74. It's just a little overextended, like I was mentioning earlier. So that's what makes it a little risky here for the entry. I wanted to take it on my top step, but we can't put bracket orders on there. So unfortunately, liquidity push is not really going to work for top step because I'd have to go in and out manually, which is kind of it's a little too risky in my opinion. So that's why I wouldn't really want to mess with it personally. See if it pushes back up. Yeah, it's a little bit of a crazy move right here. So yeah, if you guys went for the 100 pips, I mean, basically, obviously it did go through and it worked out. But other than that, a little bit of a risky entry there. Morning CJ. Morning Slava. Morning Dan. Morning Stern. Morning James. Morning Karen. Morning Randy. Morning Kevin. Morning everybody. Yeah, Kenneth said he caught it with some slippage. Dejan said his limit order entered him way before the actual price. Shiv said he's seen limit orders do that on Top Step many times. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, obviously, the volatility here is kind of crazy. So it's kind of expected. It's just kind of risky where price is pushing through right now because of the it's a little overextended, right? Yeah, the full move we just got pushed through right now. So if you went for 100, it would have hit your TP. If you went for 300, I mean, it still would hit your TP right there too. It's just a matter of all the liquidity here got hit. So again, this just goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you guys have my high low indicator, you guys can see, I mean, it doesn't matter if you went for the 100 or went for the 300, either way, your thing would have gotten hit right there. So yeah, if you guys want to, or it's too late now. I wouldn't recommend entering at this point, but I said earlier, if you went for the 100, you would have been fine. And then again, if you went for the retest, because I mentioned earlier, I was like, if you're not going in now, wait for the retest, price pulled back, retest it again, and then it went for the full move. So if you guys went for either 100 or 300, I mean, full TP right there, right? I'm not going to count the move because I didn't necessarily take this move here. I kind of wish I did because I knew it was going to play through. I kind of like when the trend is not really directional, because when there's no directional trend, the thing is a lot of people don't know what to do, right? A lot of retail traders don't know what to do. But the thing is, we have sentiment here, which a lot of people don't know how to use. So we have an upper hand, we have an edge in the market, because even though the trend's not like directional, we still have a little backup in our pocket, because we know all the sellers are in the market. So obviously we're going to buy. And yeah, I mean, it played out perfect because we had this here, we had the fundamentals. Obviously we're going to look for buys here. Like retail sentiment was super high. Well, not super high, but it's pretty high, 75%. And then fundamentals were bullish. So if anybody's, majority of traders only use technicals here. And if you looked at the technicals pre-market, there's no way to really tell if price is going to be bullish or not, right? Because there's just no way. Everything was right in between and price was consolidating. So with that said, we had the upper hand here because we looked at retail sentiment. So nice work there, guys. It looks like pretty much a lot of you guys took the trade. Yeah, CJ caught the higher levels. KC said clean breakout, liquidity push. Kenneth caught the higher liquidity. Kip over here just posted his profits. I don't know why Kip posted it in Zoom, but he did. So Kip over here posted his profits. Total profit of 4,000. 827. Kip just couldn't control himself. He had to post it on Zoom, not on Telegram. He had to let everybody know that he killed it. So nice work, Kip. Kip locking 4,827. I just never seen Kip post his profits on Zoom before. So I'm like, it's kind of weird that Kip's posting his profits on here. But nice work, Kip. Kip locking 4,827 for the day. Huge full TP right there on the buy. So great work, Kip. Other than that, let's see. Dejan said, is it the average fill price, the price where you entered? Yeah, that's the average, Dejan. So if you're trading on Top Step, it takes multiple contracts. That's the average price of pretty much all the contracts that you took. So whatever, altogether, the average of like the 15 contracts you entered or less, that's going to be the price that you basically got in at. So it's the same with FTMO or whatever. If you're entering 15 lots, it's going to give you the average of the entry. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it with the liquidity for today. I mean, not for the day because there's higher levels up there. So I mean, depending on which level of liquidity you're looking to catch higher, I mean, there's a lot of different levels here. So if you caught, and there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's about 7 entries here that you could have taken for liquidity. Each would have gone for at least 100 pips or higher. That's basically where you would have locked in some profits. And then we have higher levels up here as well. So those levels are probably going to get hit eventually. But, just be careful because price is overextended. So you probably want to wait for price to consolidate here a bit in range. And then, ride that up. But don't just, if it blasts up, I'd probably be careful about entering the trade there, unless you're going for one level. So, multiple levels of liquidity here got hit. I mean, I don't know what levels everybody took, but it doesn't really matter which level you took. You could have taken any level here and you still would have made profit. It's kind of like almost impossible to not make profit on any of these liquidity pushes because they never pull back far enough to ever hit your stop loss, right? So, so a bunch of levels right there. Other than that, let's go back to our main chart. I'll come back to liquidity a little later to see if there's anything else for us to look at here. But for the most part, just focus on these higher levels. Next level right here is going to be 35,569. When price gets to that point, maybe look for another 100 pips. If not, we'll look for some momentum pullback scalps. But other than that, I have news marked up over here. We have more news coming up at 7:30, I believe. Natural gas storage. Let me go and refresh this real quick. All right, here's my FX book. We have news over here at 7:30. That's pretty much it. Inflation news, obviously, passed already. And that's pretty much all the news for today. So you got that marked up. Here is the clean chart. I'm going to go ahead and mark up opening candle, which is right here. Once the market stabilizes a bit, I'll mark up structure. Or actually, I guess I can do it now. Looks like price might have hit a high point. So we got structure right there. And we got structure down here. So we'll see where this ends up going. If price ends up pulling back down to opening price, or if price continues to climb higher. My guess is that eventually price will just keep climbing higher. I don't think price will really come down very much. You guys can see the catalyst over here for CPI news. So CPI news over here pushed price initially on the first candle, then it faked out all the way below, pushed back up, retraced, and now it's going back up higher to continue the push initially. The 5:30 candle is right here, this big green candle. So when the news came out at 5:30, price came up, faked out, corrected back up, retraced, and now it pretty much went in the direction that it was supposed to, because the original candle here was bullish and it basically just psyched everybody out. It just went up and it was like psych, came down, and like psych, came back up, and then it came back for the retracement and then it went straight up. But initial direction right here is bullish. If you look at the news from today, it was pretty mixed. I mean, the main thing that was good, so jobless claims was good. Actually, I thought jobless claims was bad. Let me check. So they didn't really, they bunched it up over here for, unemployment claims was bad. I don't know why it was green over here. That's kind of weird that it is green here. It was actually worse. So, because I was looking at the news when I woke up this morning. I like literally woke up at 5:30, then I just like sat there for a bit. I didn't really get up, but inflation news was bad and unemployment claims was bad. So price faked out to the top, then it came down, then it corrected back up. But I mean, news never moves where it's supposed to go. So I don't really care if like news is good or bad. I just want to see how price reacts to it. So like, for example, here price initially went up and then people realized news was bad. So it came down and then it corrected back up to stop all those people out. Basically it filled the gap. And then now price is retracing. So once price stabilizes, ATR is pretty good right now. It's currently at 24. So it's looking good right now. We have enough volatility for entries at 642 right now. In the next 10 to 15 minutes, we'll start looking for some momentum pullback scalps. We just got to wait for the market to stabilize here a bit so that we have opportunity to take these entries without getting caught in, some messiness here in the market. So I'm going to start marking up the levels here so that you guys can see structure. I think initially I thought these lines here were kind of messy, but now that we have them marked up every day, I think they're actually beneficial for us because when you have these lines marked up here, they actually show you where market structure is moving. You can kind of see where the bounces happen, right? So I actually liked having the lines up here. Initially, I thought it was messy and I thought it was going to be kind of confusing for people. But now that we've been putting them up every day, I think it helps a lot with identifying like, okay, price is actually pushing up or price is actually pushing down because you can see where the bounces happen when you have these lines set up right here. So let me mark up a couple more lines because we do have some space here. The volatility is a bit higher due to the CPI news. All right, I think that's enough lines. I'll go ahead and mark up today's overall bias. So retail sentiment is obviously bullish. It was, what was it? Here comes Gian coming in late on purpose. Yeah, so Gian, he messaged me yesterday, and I just want to make this because this might be a problem with a lot of people too. So the problem with Gian is that he loses a lot of trades early in the session. So he comes on late on purpose now. He tries to trade the open like at 6:30, he ends up losing a trade, and he's like, man, if he would just skip those trades, like I told him yesterday, I was like, man, if you just skip those trades, you would have been perfectly fine, right? So what he does now is he doesn't even come on until like 6:45 because he knows he loses his trades, too early in the session. So if that's your guys' problem, and you guys think that like, or you guys know that you lose trades early in the session, just don't get on the live session until like 6:45 or 7, right? Because that's going to prevent you from taking any losses. The last thing I want you to do is take losses, taking dumb trades, and then all your margins even up for the rest of the session, right? Because all the good trades come after like 6:45, 7 anyways. So there's no need to really force anything early on in the session. Because I mean, if you're just focusing on the trades that we take here, then it wouldn't even matter if you got on early because there's no entries that come. There's no official entries that come up until 6:45. 6:45 right now. Here you see prices pushing up. We're now going to start looking for entries here. So yeah, I'm always looking for ways to benefit you guys, right? If I can figure out ways that you guys are screwing up or like ways to fix you guys from screwing up, I'm going to give you guys some tips. So yeah, again, if you guys have problems, like Kenneth over here said, I have the same problem with later trades. I get off early now. So Kenneth has the same problem as like I mentioned with Gian, except instead of taking trades early, he loses trades towards the end. So like for Kenneth here, he probably makes profit with us early in the session, and then he's off by like 7:30, right? Because that's when volatility dies down anyways. I mean, at that point, it's like, what's the point of being on to begin with, right? So yeah, you guys just got to be smart about what you got to figure out where your strengths and weaknesses are. And then from there, you can make adjustments, of course. All right, so we have a pending buy signal right here. If we get a retracement, we may have possible entry here for a momentum pullback scalp. Again, you guys want to be a little careful and patient with your entries here because we don't really know what's going to happen next. So waiting for this buy signal there. There goes a buy signal. Now, if we get a retracement, so I need price to push up a little bit. I need price to push up maybe to this next level over here. It can't pull back where it's currently at because if it pulls back, it's going to be too low. But if it pushes up a little bit, so I need price to push up a little bit higher. It's too low right now. I needed to push up to this level here, retrace, and continue. Right here is just way too low. So I'm not looking to take any entries here. Got 30 seconds left on this candle. See where this ends up going. I'll take a look at everyone's profits in a bit. I don't want to miss this trade. So me taking this on my trade over 8. All right, we got price pushing up right here. I need to push up a little higher. It's still a little too low. Got about 5 seconds on this candle. ATR is currently 25, so we got that volatility. All right, so if this candle here closes red, doesn't matter how big or how small, it needs to close above this black line. If it closes above this black line or at the black line, I'm going to be making entry right here at the 70 mark. So I'm going to go over here and wait. I'm just going to let it. All right. So I'm going to be following this right here. If this here closes, I mean, it's fine if it pushes up, but if it closes red, either above or at the line, I'm going to make entry right here at the 70 mark. Giving you guys a heads up right now. This candle's moving kind of quick. We got 25 seconds. If it closes below, definitely no entry, 100% no entry, but it needs to close above or at the line. So we got 15 seconds left here. Been waiting for it. Watching to see how it closes. We got about 10 seconds left. It's got to close red. All right, no entry there. It's fine. And now we have one more opportunity here. If this closes red, again, if it's above the black line or at the black line, I'm going to make entry right here at 35,570. If not, then we wait. There's no need, there's no rush, none of that stuff. It's waiting. It's hitting the next level, liquidity right here. So it's going to work out for us because if it pulls back, it'll come back for the retest probably. If it closes below the line, no entry. It's too far down. The lowest I'll go is this level right here. Or if it's even higher, then I'll go for a higher level. But right now, this is as low as I'll go. We got 10 seconds left. See if it closes above or at the line. Nope, it's not closing. So no entry there, guys. Now I got to wait for it to push up higher. So now I got to wait for direction to push up again. No entry for us here. I need price to push back up, retrace, and continue. So no opportunities here. This is too low. I wouldn't take any trades at this point. I mean, it would have hit, but I'm not taking that trade there. So that trade would have hit actually. Price would have pulled back, would have went up to TP, but it's too low for me. So I'm definitely not messing with that right there. But if you guys did take it and you guys were taking a risky trade, it would have hit your TP like super quickly. Would have filled it, went straight to TP, and it would have been, you would have been out. I'm not here to take those risky trades. I'm here to take quality trades, and I'm just taking my time. There's no need to force anything. All right, and this is exactly why I wouldn't have taken the trade there, because I was worried the sell signal would come up. So typically, you know, if you look over here, if you have a price going past the momentum, it's probably gonna switch to an opposite signal. That's why I don't take the entry. Like for example, here, buy signal, candle comes below it, sell signal comes up, right? Like you just don't want to be a sucker. So you want to make sure that you're patient, you're waiting for these quality entries. So again, right here, next, the highest level or the lowest level I'll take will be 70. So I need price to push up a bit higher, retrace, and continue. If that's the case, great, I'll take my entry. If not, then I'm just waiting. There's no need for me to force anything here. It's only 6:51. We got a lot of time. So technically, this momentum signal we haven't used an entry yet. So as long as price pushes above this point, then I can take entry. But again, we're not going to force anything. We got to be patient and wait for the setup to come to us. If we get a sell signal, that's fine. We'll just wait for the setup to reset. I mean, price is overextended anyway. It's not a big deal. Let's see. Oscar said, was that an entry for a triple confluence at 646? Price seems overextended. So yeah, looking at this buy signal right here, it did break and close past this high. Price was above the pivots, trend meter was green. So this technically would have been it would have been a high triple confluence because it's three strategies in one. However, like you mentioned, it was a bit over. No, actually, this is fine. So because it reset right here, Oscar. So see how there's another low right here? If you were measuring it from right here, yeah, that'd be overextended, right? But since if you measured it from here, let's see. Yeah, it would have been fine because it'd be at 590 pips. So this triple confluence is actually okay. You're kind of like looking to measure it from where the new low is started. So there's a low right here. Yeah, but there's a new low right here. So you'd measure it from this point. So this was a triple confluence. If anybody caught that, that'd have been a full TP right there. Nice move. That this entry doesn't come up very often, but when it does come up, it typically always hits. So yeah, Oscar said he entered it, but he pulled out early because the next candle had low volume. Yeah, that's a smart move. I would have done the same thing, Oscar. Like, this candle right here kind of slow down a bit, right? Because usually when you get that triple confluence, it's pretty quick. It'll like blast right through to your TP. So I would have done the same thing you did, but you did identify this properly. Price was a bit overextended in the whole aspect of the move, but if you measured it from here, it was only up like about 600 pips. So it was doable and acceptable in my opinion. Yeah, no problem. Nice catch right there, Oscar. I don't really look for that entry anymore, but when you guys do spot it, it typically always hits. So, if you guys are older members or you guys have access to my indicators, you guys can take those trades too. All right, we have the same opportunity right here, guys. If we get a retracement signal, a retracement candle, entry be here at the 70. So if this candle closes red, I'm going to put a pending order right here at the 70. If price continues to push up, then we have more opportunity here to take entry at a higher level. But right now, if this here closes red, I'm going to enter at 70. If price pushes up higher, I may move my entry point to maybe this level up here. But again, it's just a matter of patience, just waiting for this to actually, provide entry for us. Hasn't done that yet. So price is pushing up higher. If this is the case, that's fine. Entry will probably happen at the 80 mark instead. Okay, price is pushing up higher. It's cool. $20, $30. All right, so if this candle here closes red, entry would happen at the 80 now. So price kind of pushed up a bit. That's where my buy limit will be set. So if it closes red, that's where my entry is going to be at the 80 mark. High level liquidity here just got hit. So hopefully it retraces back down so we can get that retest back up. If price continues to climb higher, then possible entry a little bit higher from this point. But right now it's currently set at 80. We have no retracement yet. So still waiting for the retracement. I mean, if anything, we might get it at 90 over here. So entry is either going to happen at the 90. If this candle closes, if it's a red candle and it closes above or at the line, it's going to be at the 90. If not, it's going to be at the 80 down here. It's hitting the high level of liquidity right there. So I'm looking for the retracement. So if it retraces down, we'll catch the retest on the way back up. Hasn't retraced yet though. We got 15 seconds left on this candle. Nope. All right, next level is going to be the whole number over here, 600. So either at 600 or the 90. So got like 30 seconds left on here. We got 10 seconds left on this candle. It's got to close red. If it doesn't close red, then there's not going to be any opportunity there for entry. All right, I'll put my pending order right there. Doesn't look like it's going to fill. If it doesn't fill on this candle, I'm going to cancel it. Pushing through the, already pushed through the level right there. So if you guys took the higher level liquidity right there, it already, pretty much pushed through already. Looks like it already went to the 100 pips, I think. Yeah, it's already hit. So if you guys took liquidity earlier, it's already hit. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna leave it up for one more candle. Just leave it up for one more candle, and then if it doesn't fill, then I'm gonna cancel it. The volatility is starting to die down a bit. It's currently at 20. Because if it starts to consolidate right here, I don't want to hold on to the position for too long, especially if the volatility is dead. So we got one candle right here. If this here doesn't close, I'm going to cancel the order and we're going to try to get in a little bit higher or look for better entry at that. Okay, it's pushing up too high. So at this point, I'm going to cancel my order. Took it off the chart. All right, now we got to wait for another opportunity here. We still haven't used this buy momentum yet, so we still have opportunity for entry. It's just climbing a little high now. So when it's climbing a little too high, it's going to get a bit overextended. It's not overextended yet, but it is getting to that point. So next level of entry is going to be at the 600. It's the same level from earlier. It just never got filled. All right, so it's still climbing right here. It's getting a little too overextended at this point, unfortunately. We weren't able to dip into the position here like we wanted to. It's all good, it happens. But you just got to stick to your trading plan. So I'm not going to FOMO into this. I'm not trying to get into anything random. I'm waiting for it to pull back. Measure it again. It's a little overextended. It got to 1,000 right there. Okay, so I don't know if I'll take the entry right here right now. I'll have to see how the candles look. If the candles don't look too good and it looks overextended, like it's about to retrace back hard, then I'm obviously not going to take any entries yet. The volatility is still high, so this is good. Volatility is still at 21. The only problem is that it's climbing. So again, this is what I was mentioning earlier, guys. Look at all the liquidity here that got hit. If you took any level of liquidity that I gave you guys, it doesn't matter if you took these here, you still would have hit. So you had a ton of opportunities here. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 entries right here that you could have taken using any of my levels of liquidity. So let's see where this candle closes. The volatility looks like it's dying down. If it dies down too much, I don't really want to take it. If it comes down a little heavier, then maybe I'll look for opportunity for entry. But right here, if the volatility just stays flat, I don't really want to hop into it because it looks like it's just going to be stuck at that point, right? So the 30 mark right here, the 40 mark is right there. No, I'm going to hold off on this, guys. Because it's overextended, it has to retrace down a little bit. So what I'll do here is I'll look for the second leg. The entry would have happened right here if you were looking to take this entry. It looks like it's going to hit TP. Looks like it came down, would have filled, and then it's probably going to shoot right back up and hit TP. But I didn't want to take this risk. Price is already overextended. It looks like it needs to retrace at least a little bit to some extent. Yeah, two situations that you don't want to get into these positions is one, when price is consolidating, like right here, it's consolidating. It's not a good time to enter because yeah, you might get like your trade's probably going to hit eventually, but it's going to retrace down and then eventually, blast up, but you're going to be stressed out during that entire period. I would rather wait than see, you can see right there, it did hit. So unfortunately, the entry that we were looking for was right here. I didn't take it because I didn't feel comfortable with the movement right now. So I'm just going to wait for the next opportunity. I'll look for price to retrace down, give it sell signal, and then correct back up. Because obviously it is overextended right here. I mean, from down here, price is pushed up about 3,000 pips, and it hasn't really retraced down that heavily. From right here, the next level, price pushed up about 1,000 pips. So it's due for retracement. It's about that time. So if you guys took the trade there that I marked up, great, go ahead and take your profits. If not, there's no need to force anything, just be patient, just wait. Your opportunity will come. It's just a matter of time until it does. CJ City took the high level liquidity because it was at the 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty strong level just looking at it. So nice work, guys. All right, I'm going to wait for this to reset. It's just overextended. I want it to reset, give us another opportunity for entry. And then from there, we'll start looking for something to hop into. But anyways, looking at everybody's profits over here. So first we have Kenny over here. Kenny locked in a total profit of 5,220 for the day. He took a liquidity push right here at 6:30. I can see the timestamp. Nice work right there, Kenny. Great profits. We got Jamie over here. Jamie just made her welcome back. Currently at 405 for the day. Nice work, Jamie. Great trade on your first day back here. Yeah, solid profits. So solid profits right there from Jamie. We've got Casey over here. Casey locked in a total profit of well over 1,000 for the day. Nice work, Casey, on those profits. Total profit actually of 2,355. So here's his total trades right there. Nice work, Casey. So 2,000 on Casey's side. We've got Kenny here, 5,220. We've got Maria over here. Maria got into a little bit of a jam, it looks like. She got in right here and she got stopped out. I'm assuming your stop loss was just a little too close or you got in a little too late, Maria. Yeah, it looks like you might have gotten closed out here and then you try to enter again for a second entry and then it ended up pulling back and stopping you out. But it's all good. It happens. Small loss right here. But so I'm looking over here at your timestamps, Maria. It looks like you entered a little too quickly, right? Because I can see you entered here at 31 and then you entered again at 32. In the future, like I mentioned, give it some breathing room, let it pull back and then go for the second retest. It looks like you entered right away. You probably entered here, hit your TP, got too excited and you're like, oh, I'm gonna enter another buy. As soon as you enter, that price pulled down and then it stopped you out. So in the future, give it some space, right? Give it some breathing room because it looks like right here, you traded off emotion. Only reason I know that is because look at the time difference. You entered here at 6:31 and 33 seconds. And then this one, you entered at 6:32 at 4 seconds. So you only gave it like less than 30 seconds for it to breathe. You're like 30 seconds win, 30 seconds, I'm gonna get back in, right? Give it like at least a minute or so for you to like really put your trade psychology back together. And take a deep breath, right? Just take a deep breath and then wait for the next entry. Because if you would have skipped this one right here, you would have been great, right? You locked in one here at 6:31 and then you had another one over here at 6:34. So just keep that in mind, guys. I know it gets exciting when you guys see these liquidity pushes and you want to get in right away. But you're better off waiting for, a better opportunity, especially when there's so many levels here. If there's so many levels, you could enter at the next level, right? You don't have to enter right away. Yeah, it's all good, Maria. Maria said she got greedy. It's okay. Your emotions were running high. You probably thought you hit the jackpot right there. You're going to hit like 3 back-to-back wins. But it's all good. Just learn from your mistakes, listen to my advice, and you'll do better the next time around. It happens. It's okay. I get greedy too. You're not the only person that it happens to. All right, so other than that, we have some more profits over here. Here's Kip locked in 4,827 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Kip. We have Sisuk over here. Sisuk locked in a total profit of 2,300 for the day on his first account. Locked in 2,100 on a second account, all wins. And locked in a total profit of 2,100 on his third account, all wins here as well. Nice work, Sisu. So solid profits right there. We have Natasha over here, total profit of 2902 for the day. Nice work, Natasha. All wins on her personal account. We got Anelli over here, total profit of 1,862 for the day. All wins. Nice work, Anelli. Great work right there. We got Kenneth here, total profit of 1,805 on his top step. Nice work, Kenneth. Smart move there with your trades. We got Rashida over here, total profit. And Rashida's been killing it. Look at her FTMO right here. Every day, straight greens. So this is the consistency that I'm telling you guys about, right? Rashida's got it locked down. She takes a few trades a day, locks in some pretty good profit, and she's solid. So great work right there, Rashida. She locked in 772 for the day. She locked in 52 yesterday, 910 the day before that, 75 on the day before that. You know, great consistency right there, Rashida. Your consistency will probably be like 100% once you get to the end of the month. Rashida over here on her top step account, total profit of 908. That's her first account. And then on Rashida's second account on top step, total profit of 258. Nice work, Rashida. All right, guys, solid work right there. There's no entries right now, guys, so don't worry. We're not missing on anything. I'm still focused on the chart. I'm just covering everybody's profits as we wait for that opportunity to come in. Patricia over here, she locked in 1,990 on her first account, total profit of 2,090 on her second account, and a total profit of 693 on her third account. Nice work, Patricia. All right, we have a buy signal here. I'm going to come back to the profits in a little bit. Just going to see if there's an opportunity for entry right here. I had one question too, I think Patricia's here, right? Patricia, are you still using E8 funding, the funding company? Because I saw an email, they have like a 20% off, plus they removed all of commissions for indices. So I'm curious if you're still using them. I might look at maybe opening an account with them and just running it, or I might just open an account anyways. You know, I'm just looking to add accounts to my copier now because I have like 8 accounts on my copier. I don't mind adding a couple more if it's beneficial. I'm just kind of tired of MFF. I don't know if I want to keep using MFF. They're, you know, they're just, it's kind of annoying using MFF because it doesn't seem like I'm really going to get anywhere with them, to be honest. So we'll see. Yeah, CC said MFF is listening to you. I know they probably are. I just keep getting like lower profits or negative, and it's just frustrating, right? So yeah, CC $20 on your next entry. What I'm going to do with MFF is I'm going to split my accounts into separate 100K accounts, and then I'm going to see if that helps. If it doesn't help, then I'm just going to be done with MFF. So we'll see. Randy said, have you checked out Alpha Capital Group? I tried their free trial. Servers are pretty good. I haven't tried them out yet, Randy. But the thing that you want to keep in mind is that you probably don't want to base your decision off the free trial, because those are completely different servers from their actual accounts. Like if you've seen before in the past, or like even with like TFF, I did their challenge. I passed their challenge within like 2 days. And then I got on the real live accounts and they were completely different. I couldn't even scalp anymore. So maybe I'll take a look at them. You know, I've never heard of them before, Alpha Capital. I'm trying to go for the companies that are like more well-known because I want to get paid out. So, you know, I'll take a look at them, but I'm looking at I'm looking at any options really. Because if I can get, like, say, for example, the challenge is like $1,000 and I can get one payout plus I get the refund on the challenge, then I make my money's back, right? So I mean, at this point, I'm just looking to stack accounts, and I'm looking for companies that are okay with me using a copier, because not every company is good with a copier. Just keep that in mind, guys, in the future. Marcin is asking regarding MFF, you mean slippage? Definitely not slippage. It's not slippage with MFF. If it was slippage, I would be making less profit every single day, right? That'd be a one-time thing. With MFF, it's their execution times and it's their spread and it's their fees. I don't know exactly what it is. It's a combination of everything. It's not slippage though. It's definitely not slippage, because if it was slippage, then okay, I'll make like less profit on one day. But if you look at all my profits every single day, I'm like half profit every single day. So it's obviously an internal thing. It has something to do with their execution time spread. Maybe slippage is one of the factors, but it's not one of the main factors for sure. Gosh, yeah. So Marcin said that he has a small account with them. So I don't know, maybe if I go to a smaller account, that's why what I want to try. So I have 200K accounts with them. I want to split them up into 100K like I did with FTMO, and I'll see if the execution is better. Because if it's better, then great. I'll keep using them. But if not, then I'll just have to find an alternative. But I'm not trying to bash MFF. MFF is still a good company in general because they still pay out. So that's probably the most important thing. The only thing is that you're making less profit across all my other accounts. I got to update the course too, because on the course, I recommend Hinko account for personal. I don't really recommend them anymore because I've been using them and you guys saw I've been making negative profit with them as well. So I don't think they're probably an okay broker for intraday trading and swing trading, but not for scalping. It's hard to find a broker that's good at scalping because it's so quick. A lot of them can't cover the fees and it's just a different game. It's a different game when you're scalping because you got to get in and out super quickly. Randy's asking, shouldn't you be eligible for upscaling your FTMO? I was eligible, but I split them into 100K accounts, so it resets. Randy, I have 4 accounts with FTMO now. I don't know if you noticed. They're smaller accounts now. So when you split them up, it resets your timer. It was up for scaling when it was at 200K. When I had 200K accounts, it was up for scaling, but I split them up. So like they're at 100K now. Because when you split them up, you have to sign in contracts. They're different accounts. They're not the same accounts anymore. So they gave me a new login. It's basically a start over. Yeah, no, that happens. I did the same thing in the past, Randy. So like if you remember, like a couple of years ago, I split them up and then I put them together to a 400K account, and then it reset the timer. Then I split it back to 200K, split the timer. It's only been a couple months since I was on the 200K. I think it was like 6 months because I did it earlier in the year, like maybe January or February. So I was ready for the scaling, but I mean, it wouldn't really matter because I wouldn't take bigger lot sizes. I would still take the same lot sizes. And I'm more comfortable taking 100 lots versus 200 lots because the profit fluctuation is like, it's crazy. And then if I mess up on one account, I can just stop trading on one account and then I can just leave the other one until I recover, or I can take a smaller lot size. So I think for the longevity of your trading and just trading in general, long term, I think it's better to have a small account and just allocate your risk across those accounts versus having one huge account and then possibly blowing that and then screwing everything up. Let's see. Randy said, is upscaling them strictly trading a bigger account? Like you're not able to get more accounts instead? That's correct, Randy. I think so. I think it's just the account that you currently that gets offered the upscaling. They just make that bigger, but you can't split those into anything smaller. I don't know for sure. You can probably ask that to them directly, but it just, the way that I see it, that's kind of how it is. They're kind of just banking on that one account. Because the thing is, if you're consistent, they want to keep putting more money into that account so they'll know which ones scale, and they'll be like, okay, this is the account that he's serious with, and they're just going to copy the trades from that specific account. So I don't know. I'm not FCMO, so I can't say for sure, but if you want to know, you can probably just ask them, they'll tell you directly. Let's see, question from Kenny. Kenny's asking, how do commissions work for personal cash accounts? It's a little confusing to me, like how do all-in rates and round trip rates work? How much would we have paid in commissions for the last trade? I mean, it depends on your broker, Kenny. I don't know which broker you're using. Because if you're using a regulated broker, they send you an invoice at the end of every day. I mean, even like unregulated brokers, like even Henkel, they send you a statement at the end of the day. So it gives you the breakdown. I'm not sure which broker you're using, but Most brokers do. I mean, Henko probably, Henko does. I don't think Hugo's does. If you use a regulated broker, they send you a statement every day. At the end of every day, they send you a statement. It tells you exactly how everything's. Okay, yeah. So open the account and then you'll see. But so I don't know if it's you that asked me the question. I know it was somebody else. So someone asked me a question if like commissions are charged at the end of the month or if there's like a flat rate. There's no flat rate, it's per trade. Because if you take a big, it's charged per contract. So like depending on your broker, every broker has their own fees. I mean, it just depends on the fees. So once you open your cash account, Kenny, I don't know where you're going to open it at, but they'll usually tell you what the rate's at. Some of them charge you a lot, some of them charge you a little. It just depends on the broker. Like you can choose whether you want a wider spread or you want higher commissions. I would personally get higher commissions because you can get in and out of the position. So I'd rather pay higher commissions than to get caught in the trade due to spread versus having lower commissions and wider spread. So, I mean, you got to check with your broker. Each broker is different. And then they all have their own specific criteria for how they want to deduct their commissions. But usually the broker will give you a statement at the end of every day. All right, so there's no entries here, guys. Volatility is starting to die down a little bit. It's currently at 19. It's still above 15, so we can still look for entries here. There's just no entries for us to take right now. The trend is still bullish, so we're looking for a buy signal here to come up. Once the buy signal comes up, we can start looking for entries, but right now, there's just nothing here at the moment. Let's keep looking at everybody's profits before we get too far behind. So we have, let's see, Kenny over here, total profit of 5,000 for the day. We have Andreas over here, total profit of 960. Looks like it would have hit his full TP, but it didn't give him that strip. Yeah, so Andreas over here said it hit TP, but he had it closed manually. Looks like he got caught in the spread, but he still locked 960 for the day. So nice work right there, Andreas. So solid profit right there. Dejan over here, locked in a total profit of 1,252 for the day. Nice work, Dejan. Yeah, you guys are killing it. Great work, guys, here. And you guys can see everybody's profiting from like different accounts. So it doesn't really matter if you're using a Top Step or if you're using FTMO or if you're using MFF or if you're using E8 or whatever you guys are using. People are profiting on every account. So it doesn't matter what you're using unless you're using TFF. You're definitely not going to profit with them because I had issues with them in the past. So, I mean, you guys should be pretty solid. Sam over here said phase one pass. Thank God for Sean showing me liquidity. So Sam over here locked in a total profit of 4,010 for the day. Nice work, Sam. Yeah, so Sam's been using liquidity and solid profits right there. Kenny said, hey, Sean, when you talk about catching like 100 or 300 pips and the profit amount is different than what mine is according to FTMO account because I caught 26.1 made at 5,000. Let's see, Kenny, you're here on the chat, right? Yeah, Kenny, you're okay. So I'm just going to explain it to you, Kenny, so I don't have to type it out because it's going to be a ton of work for me to type it out for you. So let me just look at your profits. And don't worry, guys, I know I'm going off topic right here and I'm not looking at the charts, but I mean, I am looking at the charts, but there's no entries for us here. Once we get a buy signal, I'll come back to the charts and I'll focus on here, but I'll just help you guys with these like questions right now. So it looks like over here, Kenny, you got in at, let's see, 35. Okay, 35,352. Let me put my calculator on this side so I can, I can just squint a little bit and see what you got in at. So you got in at 353.20 minus 35,327.10. So you got in for 2,261 pips, just like you mentioned. Solid. You went in at a 200 lot. So this is gonna be times 20. Yeah, that's right. So you got in for that. If you're doing, so here's the basic math, Kenny. I don't know if you guys realize this. If you're doing a 200 lot, you just multiply your pips by 20 because that's how much each pip is worth, right? So if you got in for 261, then you multiply this by 100. It matches your profit, right? You got 5,220. So yeah, this is right, Kenny. Let me go back to your question and see what your question actually was. So you're asking what the difference would be if you went for 300 pips. Oh, I don't even know why I did the math for that. I could have just told you that straight up. So again, like I mentioned, Kenny, if you're taking a 200 lot, each point or each pip is worth $20, right? So let me just go over here to you, Kenny. Sorry, I got so many messages here. I don't even know where you're. Okay, if you did 100 pips with a 200 lot, that equals 100 times 20, right? Equals 2,000. If you did 300 pips with 200 lot, that's going to be 300 times 20, right? So that's going to be, and I'll just show you on here so you can see 300 times 20, 6,000. So that's why you made a little less, because you didn't go for 300 pips. You got 260 pips. So that's why you're just a little off. So, all right, Kenny. Sorry, I like overcomplicated that question more than I needed to. It's just, you gotta, if you know the value of each pip, that's how you know how much it's worth. That's why when I did the math, you made 260 pips times 20, 261 pips times 20, you made 5,220. And then looking at your profits over here, that's exactly what you made, 5,220. It's basic math. It's just like understanding the equation, right? I mean, I suck at math, and if I'm able to calculate that, I mean, anybody could, right? It's not that difficult. It's just really understanding how each pip is worth. Here's Rick's profits for the day so far. Rick locked in 697 on the first account, 687 on the second account, and 687 on the third account. Nice work, Rick. So solid profits right there. We still have no buy signal, guys, so don't worry, we're not missing out on anything just yet. We got some more profits over here from Sisuk. All right, I'll come back to that in a little bit, guys. Let me, we got 15 seconds. Sisuk locked in 3,200 on the first account, total profit of 2,600 on the second account, and a total profit of 3,000 on the third account. Nice work, Sisuk. All right, back to the charts. Green momentum is coming up right here. Volatility is currently at 17. It's kind of low. All right, so I need price to push up slightly above right here, and then pull back right there. Maddie did mention that news is coming up shortly, so we might want to wait for news to happen first. I mean, the volatility is very low, so I don't even know if we'll get an entry right here, so we might not even have an entry at this point. I need price to actually push up higher, which it hasn't pushed up yet, right? Price has to push up a bit higher. Volatility is kind of low, so that's kind of what we're waiting for at the moment. Let's see, question from Sam. Sam's asking, hey, Sean, once you've got a scaled account, do you still have to make consistent profit target every month? Not from my understanding, no, Sam. So like once you get scaled up, if you want to get scaled up higher from where you're already scaled, then yeah, you have to make consistent from that point forward. But you don't lose the scaling if you don't make more profit every month. You just stick at that account size. So yeah, you don't have to keep making more profit, but if you're consistent for like another 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is now, they'll keep scaling you up higher. And the scaling is not that high. I think it's like 10 or 20%. So it's not like it's not a huge difference in your account. So I mean, scaling is cool, but it's not really, I think the cool thing about scaling is that it just gives you more cushion, right? So say, for example, you go from a 100K account to like a 110K account, then you just have a little more opportunity to make mistakes. But it wouldn't really matter, because if you blow the account, you'll just open another account, right? That doesn't make a huge difference. It just gives you more cushion for you to trade. All right, so this momentum signal didn't have a play. We have news coming up right here in about 3 minutes, so we'll probably have to wait a little bit. Hopefully the news here will push price a little bit, but if it doesn't, it's not really a big deal for us. It's just going to be a little more frustrating because the volatility is starting to die down. Volatility is currently at 18 right now, guys, so it's not really good at all. We need the volatility to pick up, or we need it to stay high. All right, it's currently at 18. Again, guys, I know a lot of you guys probably get frustrated. I mean, I'm frustrated right now because we've been on this session for about an hour. I missed the first trade, and then well, I missed a lot of trades today. So I missed the actual trade over here, the first trade that came up, and then I also missed like 10 levels of liquidity over here. So I haven't made any profit today yet, unfortunately. So guys, if you guys are frustrated right now, I'm with you. All right. There's no problem being frustrated. The thing that I want to remind you guys is that this is a summer market. So people are supposed to get frustrated in the summer. This is normal for us to have like some volatility and then market just dies down. This is just how it is every summer. I've been trading live with you guys for 7 years now, trading with you guys in general for over 10 years now. I've been through 10 summers already. So I know how the market moves during the summer. So yeah, it's okay to get frustrated during this time, but don't let that frustration force you guys into taking bad trades. Okay, I want to make sure that you guys understand that, because I know if you guys are frustrated, you guys get FOMO, and you guys get, you guys feel that need to like hop into a trade even though there's nothing there. It's going to end horribly, because then you're going to be in a hole, and then you have to spend the next day or so to climb out of that hole by the end of the week. So, I think the summer market, it really makes or breaks a trader. Because the thing, if you don't have the discipline to wait during the summer market, you're not going to last in this game, because this is really where it tests your trade psychology. Because you'll see some trades happen, like for example here, how price is pushing up so heavily, right? So see how price is pushing up heavily right here. I already know some people hopped into the trade up here, right? Like it's a given. If you guys see price pushing up so high right here, what happens at this point? People get FOMO and they enter a buy right here, right? And as soon as they enter that buy, what happens? Price goes completely opposite and they get stopped out. And then at that point, they're in a horrible mindset, because now at this point, they want a revenge trade. Because they're like, okay, I screwed up right there. I may take a really dumb trade. And what happens? They try to force another trade over here because they think price is going to come back up, right? They see price come down a little bit, like price comes down, and they're like, oh, price is consolidating. It has to go back up, right? So what happens here is people enter another buy, and then price pulls back down and it stops them out again. At this point, they're down like 10%. They're about to blow their account, right? And then they take one more trade because they're like, oh, I can make it back. I'm going to get like, this is, they take a YOLO trade basically, right? They take a trade and they're like, okay, all right, if I take this trade, either I make my account back or I blow my account. What happens to the account? It's blown, right? So don't let that be you guys. I've been mentoring people for years now. I know like all of the situation that you guys have been through, because everybody explains to me like what happens. Even some of the best traders in here have gone through that. You guys might not know it, but there's a lot of traders in here who you guys think are like really good traders. And even myself, like I'm not that great. I still run through issues too sometimes. It's all part of the game. It's all part of the game. And once you get better at controlling your emotions trading, that's when you really get to that next level. Yeah, exactly. Kenny said fear and greed moves the market. Exactly. So like whenever fear and greed is moving the market, that's your cue to just wait and let the market stabilize. Like for example, right here, I can see this as being a setup, right? Price is consolidating right here. Like let me go to the clean chart so that you guys can see things better. So let me go over here real quick and I'll mark up structure so that you guys can see. Yeah. So look at this right here, right? You can't really see it on this chart because it looks like price is kind of moving a bit, right? But if you look over here on the clean chart, you can see that price has been in this range for quite some time. Price has just been bouncing around here. Or let's see, let's measure time. So it's been bouncing around this area for about 40 minutes now. See, we would have never thought that unless like you guys saw my clean chart. That's why I like having separate charts here so that you guys had an idea of like where market structure is moving. Because you know, if you just look at a regular chart like this, you don't really see price going sideways. You see price going up. And then from here, you see price going down, right? I think that's a problem with like a lot of people too, is that they don't really understand market structure as much. They think price has to go up or price has to go down. Realistically, there's three ways more price can move. It goes up, it goes down, and right now it goes sideways, right? So you guys have to look at things from a different lens. A lot of people who trade, or if you ever like follow certain people who teach trading, they're usually like they're missing a piece to the puzzle, right? Whenever you see people who are teaching trading, they always tell you to look for an uptrend, or they always tell you to look for a downtrend. But realistically, sometimes it's just going sideways and you shouldn't be looking at anything. Like, for example, here, I'm pretty sure some people are like, oh, this isn't a downtrend, so you should be looking for sells. But realistically, it's not a downtrend. It's just going back and forth. So, you know, I've even bought into other people's courses. Like recently, I bought into other people's courses that like make a lot of money off courses. And I just want to see like what they teach, and they teach a lot of bullshit. Like, to be honest, if you guys like buy into a lot of these other courses online, like I was just curious to see what people are teaching, to see like if it lines up with what we're doing. It has nothing to do with what we're doing. Like I don't know anybody who trades like I do. A lot of people trade like they teach the basic stuff, right? Trend trading. There's a couple strategies that I've seen from like a lot of the well-known traders out there, not really well-known, but people who are big on YouTube. Like there's a couple people who teach break and retest strategies, right? Or they teach breaks of the high or breaks of the low. If you think about these breaks of the high strategy, this is literally my high-low scalp strategy, right? If you have a high-low right here, so for example, let me turn on my high-low. Like, see here how I have my high right here? I have my high, and if price breaks past it, so if you guys know my high-low strategy, you're just waiting for the candle to break and close past the high, right? I see people repackage this and they call this break of the high strategy. I'm like, dude, that's my freaking high-low strategy. And the thing is that this guy's been he's been in K2 before, so I know he stole that strategy from me. But the thing is, he doesn't have my indicators. So when I see his strategy play out, I know it doesn't work because he doesn't have the momentum, right? He can't pull up momentum because I created this indicator. So when I see people try to like repackage my strategies, I'm like, all right, go ahead and repackage it, but your trader is going to lose because they don't have my momentum. Like it's not that simple. A lot of people think you're just breaking a high and it works, but it doesn't always work that way. Like for example, right here, see how this candle right here, there's a high and it breaks with the momentum signal. That's how we know it's a good trade, right? Because we have the momentum. This is a triple confluence right here. And then like, for example, if price breaks, because you'll see a lot of fake outs, you'll see price break below, but then you'll know to avoid it because there's no momentum there. So, you know, just a heads up, guys. You know, I've done my digging, and I've seen some people have these strategies called break of the high. That's my high-low scalp, or my high-low strategy, or break of the low. That's my high-low strategy. And then another one's break and retest, right? Same strategy. It's just they look for a retest. So just be careful, guys, with like from who you guys are learning from, because a lot of times those strategies are just repackaged. They've learned it somewhere else and they try to make it their own, but they're usually missing a key piece. Like for me, they're missing the momentum indicator, which I think makes a big difference. Like for example, if you look at all of our entries here, they're all based off momentum, right? Because we know where momentum is pushing. Like for example, if price is pushing up right here, we know not to take a trader on this area because we have a sell momentum, right? A lot of people would still take trades at that point, but then they get caught in this reversal right here. But we don't get caught in it because we know momentum is coming down. So back to the charts, guys. There's nothing for us to look at here. I just wanted to kind of rant there a little bit because a lot of people have been asking me like, hey, do you know what this guy is doing? Or do you know what this guy is doing? Most of the time I don't care what people are doing, but sometimes I'm just curious because I like trading so much that I'll study other people's material just to see how it sucks. It's just like there's no wrong way to trade, but like I've followed like a lot of traders, and um their their strategies are they're flawed in one way. So for me, guys, I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of these strategies I kind of like saw somebody do at some point, and then I just made it better. That's why I created my indicators here, because my indicators, they fill that void. There's always something in a part of the strategy that needs to be included that a lot of people don't have the tool for. So I ended up going and creating my own tool to make that strategy better. So I've always been on like, I mean, this is just always how I've been. I always found ways to improve on things that are already working. It's like how people say, don't reinvent the wheel, right? I don't reinvent the wheel, I just make it better. Yeah, Kenny said your strat has an ABC approach. I haven't seen anything like it. Anyone can be successful in this group. Yeah, I agree too, Kenny. Like I try to make it as simple as possible. I don't try to overcomplicate things. Whenever we look for entries here, I try to make it at the least subjective as possible, because when you have subjectivity in trading, that's usually what screws people over, because they don't know when to enter a trade or when not to. I think one of the strategies that that might confuse people sometimes is going to be liquidity, because this is very subjective, right? You don't know when to, well, you don't necessarily know when to take the full move or when to take partial move, but it's a skill that you start to build over time. And typically I'll tell you guys in the beginning if I'm going to go for the full move or if I will go for the full move versus the 100 pips. All right, Sisuk. Yeah, Sisuk said, all right, got to go. Hope you guys have an incredible rest of your day. Yeah, definitely, Sisuk. We'll see you back here tomorrow. All right, so we got a sell signal over here, guys. Price is starting to shift down. So there's a couple of things here that I'm looking for. I'm looking for this red pivot to be above all the other pivots. That's going to indicate that price is shifting in trend. With regard to the pivots, I'm also looking for the trend meter down here below to be red. If we can have that, then we can start looking for a sell. Right now, prices are tracing up. I'm not going to take this trade here for a sell because it doesn't fit my criteria. I need the trend to be bearish and I need it to be pretty obvious and confirmed. Right now, it's not obvious. Price just pulled down a little bit, but it can easily shift right back up. So not looking for any entries here. I'm looking for this red pivot to be above all these pivots. And then I'm also looking for the trend meter down below to turn red. If we have that, then I'll start looking for a sell. But until then, I'm just going to sit tight and wait for, wait for that opportunity to come to us. Yeah, Andrew said I was curious about one course because it was $20 or something for the first month, and the strategies were just guesses. They have a 40% win rate, but you go for a 1-to-4 risk to reward. Eventually, you hope you're in profit. Yeah, that's how a lot of people try to teach trading. I mean, having a good risk reward is not necessarily always a good thing, right? It depends on your personality. If you're okay with losing trades like back to back to back, and then hoping that you'll finally win, then that type of strategy will work for you. For me, I don't like losing trades. I don't like losing at anything, really. Like even when I was working as an attorney, I don't think I've ever lost a case before. I've settled a lot of cases, but I've never lost a case before. I don't like losing. Like I've always been competitive. So like with trading, I don't like to lose either. So for me, I have a negative versus reward or I have a 1-to-1, but we don't really lose very often, right? We miss trades sometimes. Like sometimes we'll have no trades, but the odds of us losing are very unlikely because I always have that winning mentality. I don't like to lose at anything. So when we take these trades here, I usually look for the quality entries before taking anything officially. And if you're a winner, then this is the perfect place for you because you're going to win a lot. You're not going to lose very often, but you're going to win a lot, but you're not going to have as many trades. So there's like so many different ways to trade, but it just depends on like the person you're learning from. If you have if you're okay with losing like 10 trades and then winning one trade and then making it back to break even, then this is probably not the place for you, right? Because that's not going to happen here. If I lose one trade, I'm usually done for the day. I can't even stomach losing one trade. If I lose one trade, I'm like pissed off for the whole day. And I'm like, all right, I'm just not going to trade. And I'll come back the next day and make it right back. So yeah, I mean, there's a ton of ways to trade, guys. It just depends on your personality. So yeah, no, I agree with you too, Andrew. There's so many different ways to trade out there. You can do a 1 to 4 risk reward, but expect to lose about like majority of your trades and then making it back to break even. And then hopefully it'll happen again, or you'll win more to the point where you'll make yourself back in a profit. But I've tried that approach of trading. I don't like that way, because then once you lose a trade, and I'm sure a lot of you guys go through this sometimes, whenever you guys lose a trade, it starts to mess with your trade psychology. You start to doubt the strategy, you start to doubt the system, and then you start bouncing to something else different, right? So for me, I'd rather have the consistency of winning and not having to worry about my trade psychology getting screwed up for the week. And that's the reason why I stopped trading at night too. I only trade in the morning. So I trade from now until 8. If I don't get anything, I'm content and I'm okay with moving on to the next day. All right, so we got price pushing down. I think after a couple candles, we may be able to look for a sell here, guys. So not yet, but I'm looking for this red pivot to go above this yellow pivot. So if this yellow pivot goes below, this is going to be the level 4 pivot, the strongest pivot of them all. That's going to confirm that we're switching into a downtrend. If that's the case, that's perfectly fine. And then I can start looking for a possible sell here. But until then, we're going to have to wait. So maybe the next 1 or 2 candles, if price continues to push down lower, then this pivot's going to shift above here, and this pivot's going to shift below here, and then this trend mirror down here is going to start to turn red. It's just a matter of time until that becomes the case, but it's just a matter of patience until we get to that point. Other than that, let's see if we have anything else over here. So we have some more profits from Kevin. Kevin locked in almost a lot, 33,745. So Kevin here locked in a bunch of profits per usual. Nice work, Kevin. 33,745 right there. And then on Kevin's second account, he locked in 11,762. And you can see over here, Kevin took a bunch of buys. He just kept riding that ride to the upside. I mean, this could have been a lot of you guys if you guys just took every single liquidity push, right? So Kevin here took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trades. And looking over here at the liquidity push, there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 trades that were available right here. So if you took all liquidity pushes, you could have done very well. Not something I would personally recommend, but if that's the case and you guys can do that, then by all means, I don't have the stomach to take like 10 trades a day. I barely have the stomach to take like 2 or 3 trades a day. So yeah, and maybe at some point in the future when I don't really care, I'll have a day where I'll just take every single trade, but today's not that day. Plus we're in the summer conditions. All right, we're having some volatility right here. I'm kind of curious what's causing this big spike to the downside. Let me check the news real quick. You know what's cool? Top Step has their own news here, and I like looking at their news because they have breaking news. So there's no breaking news right now. Price is just dumping a little bit. Let me check CNBC. Yeah, not really. There's not really much news here. What Maddie said they're just luring in some sellers. I agree with that too. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend chasing anything here, guys, because price just dumped. Like just this one candle right here, it dumped about like 700 pips. So there's probably gonna be a pretty hard retracement here, or it's gonna be a slow retracement. It's probably gonna retrace. So now that we have this big candle, there's one of 2 things that will happen. Price will either continue dropping like it's dropping right here, or price will retrace up and come down halfway, or price will retrace up to the full candle and then just keep climbing higher. There's too many scenarios that can play out right here when the candle's big like that. So I probably just hold off and be a little careful, looking for opportunities for entry here. Opening price is still pretty far down. So what might happen here is price might even come back down to opening price. Yeah, I would be careful. So you guys can see over here that the pivots are starting to shift. Yeah, it's a little too risky here, personally. The entry would probably happen up here if you're looking to take the momentum pullback scalp, but I probably wouldn't take it. I'll sit out on this because of the this candle is just too big. I'll look for the next opportunity. There's going to be another opportunity. It's just this candle here is just too big. It's just too, maybe that's another criteria that I have to put into here because it's something that I don't necessarily tell you guys, but I can already tell just from seeing the candle that it's going to retrace up, and that's why I wouldn't take it. Yeah, exactly. James said too risky off that huge candle. I agree 100%. I wouldn't take it either. But like basically whenever there's a big candle like that, you should probably hold off on taking entry because it's going to usually retrace back. And the thing is, your stop loss is so small. If you think about it, your stop loss is 250 pips. So if it does retrace back this full candle, it's a 700 pip retracement, right? It's going to stop you out for sure. Let's see. Kenny said same thing happened to NQ. On NQ, yeah. So it might have been one of the tech stocks. I'm not sure which tech stock, but I don't even have my index here. Let's see. Yeah, there might have been a stock there that kind of just dumped because I'm looking over here. It like dropped a little bit. There's no breaking news though, so I'm not sure what exactly, there might have been earnings that were released, but again, I have no idea. All right, so what I'll look for here is I'll look for another drop back down. So now that price is pushing back up a little bit, I'm going to look for this pattern. I'm looking for price to come down, retrace, and continue. If I get that, great. But right now, I'm just going to wait. There's obviously no opportunities here for entry. Yeah, so I need this to push down a little bit, retrace, and continue down. If we get that, then great. We'll start looking for an entry. We just need to have some sort of direction here. The ATR is still pretty high at 25 because we're going off this candle right here. So the ATR is looking a little decent right now. Nothing too crazy, but it's looking solid with regard to volatility. Anyways, I didn't even finish going over everybody's profits yet. We have Randy over here, total profit 1,390 for the day. Nice work, Randy. You took some liquidity pushes right there, all full TPs. So great work right there, Randy. I'll read yours in a little bit, Alex. Yeah, I'll read your message in a little bit once we're done with this session. All right, so price is coming back down right here. We're gonna see if this retraces up. So price is coming back down. We'll see if we get another retracement. So I'm gonna base my entry off this candle right here because this is where price starts to drop down lower. So I'm gonna base it off this candle right here. So what I would need is I need price to push down a little lower, retrace, and then continue down. If we get something like that, then great, I'll take entry right there. But this right here is just a little too, there's no direction yet, right? Because if it pulls back to this point, it can just reverse. So I need this to push down a little lower. Once it gets a little lower, I'm okay with it retracing to this point, and I'll look for entry from there. So there's like little things like this, like little things that I can't really teach you guys because I just see them myself. Like I can see these patterns playing out on the chart, and there's no like set in line rule here. Like there's no way to tell you, okay, this is what you have to look for, right? Like every single time, because the market's always different. So for example, here price is coming down. If this green candle closes below this black line right here, then I'm okay with possibly looking for entry right there. If it goes anywhere above this, then I'm definitely not looking for entry. So this green candle right here has to close below the 60. So 35,460, this candle needs to close below. If it doesn't, then I'm not looking for entry here. I'm just going to hold off. But if it does, that's going to be where I'm going to be looking to take my entry point. It's got to close a lot lower though. It's a little too high right now. It's going to drop a little lower. It's way too high right now. All right, so I'll put my pending order right there. at the 60 mark. See if it fills me. Then I'll have to watch it.
All
right, so I'm in it now.
It's
Pushing up a little bit. Just gotta watch it because I gotta manually close it out. Volatility is at 24, so it's still moving. Just gotta watch it right here. If it ends up pushing up, I just gotta close out of it manually. All right, we have a pending buy signal right there. Let's see where it goes. If the buy signal closes, I gotta get out of this position. Even if it's going in my direction. All right, still following it here. Let's see. It's kind of late in the session too. It's 7:53. So the volatility is still kind of low. Or I mean, it's high, but it's not really moving. Like the current candle is moving kind of low, but the ETR is a little higher. So if this closes, I got to close out for a small lot, for a loss, obviously. All right, price is still moving. If it closes with the buy signal, I got to close out of it. Or if it pushes up, I got to get out of it. And I got to close out manually, unfortunately. Or I'm out. So I got out of this position, guys. Ate a loss on that, unfortunately. I probably should have skipped this trade. You know, I got FOMO again right here, unfortunately. But it's all good. It happens. So this right here wasn't necessarily, I mean, even if we took the entry down here, the problem with this here is that we were still taking a trade based off this big candle, right? So we didn't really move away from this big candle. It still did kind of what I anticipated. So when this candle came up, I said there's a couple different scenarios that can play out. Price will either keep dropping, or it'll retrace to half the candle and then come back down, or it'll push up and then reverse, right? So one of the scenarios here did play out. It's reversing, right? So there was two different opportunities for entry here, where price could have continued dropping, right here where price came up right here. This is why I was kind of okay with taking the entry, because I had the second scenario here drawn up where price came up and then would have came back down. And then the last one here is the full-on reversal, which is unfortunately the setup that actually played out. So three different scenarios here: either continue dropping, pull halfway, continue correct back down, or full-on reversal right here. And this is the situation that played out. So I ate the loss right there. It's all good. Lost 250 pips, so not a big deal. I'm still up for the week from Monday and Wednesday. But yeah, that's about it. So we'll see if there's anything else here that we can take. But if not, then we might be wrapping it up soon. So if there's any other questions, guys, feel free to put them in the chat. It's 7:55 right now. Unfortunately, I ate a loss today. I took the risk on this trade, but you know, it could have went in any direction. It could have went straight to our TP, or it could have did this. It could have closed out early. We could have closed out with a small loss, but unfortunately, it did push up a little higher, and then we ended up eating that loss right there. So yeah, on to the next one. But it's already 7:56, so it's not looking like we're going to have any other opportunities for entry today. So if anything, I'm gonna eat this loss, and then I'm gonna come back tomorrow for the recoup of that trade. I'm gonna go and take a screenshot of my loss here. I want to be transparent with you guys. You know, losses do happen. You just gotta balance with the loss and then continue on forward. So cut my loss at 1,875. Not horrible. I mean, it could be worse. So fortunately, ate the loss on this trade right here, and I'll put this in the chat. ate this loss. Retracement. So I try to keep it as detailed as possible so that you guys understand, you know, why we took the trade and why we lost. So like right here, I said, unfortunately, ate the loss entering this momentum pullback, scalp on the big candle retracement. So this here was a risky candle. I took the risk, unfortunately ate the loss, but it's all good. Then here goes my loss right over here. So you guys can see losses do happen. Not very often, but they do happen. I only took this on my top step. I didn't take it on the other accounts. So it's just a small loss, 1,875, not a big deal. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It is what it is, and it's got to bounce back from that tomorrow. So if there's any other questions, you know, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up. CJ said the high low momentum. Yeah, so there's another entry here that came up. There's a lower low right here. And that buy signal right there broke and closed past the pivots 1 and 2. And that was a high low momentum scalp. So if you guys were applying that strategy, this one over here did hit. You could have recouped some of the losses on that trade, but I wasn't going to risk it. So other than that, let's see. Yeah, CJ also mentioned that there was a double bottom on the 5 minute. And there's a double bottom right here on the 1 minute too for a V1 variation. Let me see. Yeah, a lot of the strategies kind of went against each other. We probably shouldn't have taken the sell because the bias here is still bullish. So if you look over here on the fundamentals, yeah, that was probably my bad too. Like I went against the bias on that trade. Probably should have waited for price to swing up and look for a buy, because right here we do have a bullish fundamentals. We're currently at 300 points, and then retail sentiment over here was super high on the sell side. Is down. It was down 78% short. So that was probably my mistake. So yeah, sorry guys. That trade probably should have been avoided, but you know, there's no growth unless you guys take risk. So I took the risk here. Fortunately, ate the loss. I'm gonna eat that loss, move on to the next one. But this trade probably should have been avoided because the bias was bullish. But again, following my trading plan, we don't really care about bias. We could still take sell. So it wouldn't matter if bias was bullish or bias was bearish. We still would look to take the sell here with regard to the strategy that we're applying. So other than that, I think that's about it. So guys, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I will wrap that up for you guys here, and we'll move forward with the trading week for tomorrow. I mean, price is coming back down. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing comes back down, provides a sell signal, and then it actually plays out. But I'm not going to enter this one. I don't want to keep risking. It's already 8 o'clock. But if this sell signal comes up, it'll probably retrace, go up, and I think this one will actually play out. This was just a bad entry. I should have avoided this completely because of the big candle. All right, guys. Other than that, I will see you guys back here tomorrow. It looks like there's no more questions for the day. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. You guys can email me, Sean@KodiKaiTrades.com. Otherwise,